Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Post Fight. And in this edition of Post Fight, I'll be doing Post Fight UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Font. So for this card, I went 7-5 or 7 of 12. Not the best card, not the worst, but positive is always good. So you better be, on the plus side of things than the negative side of things, always. So if you can have a less than stellar card that's +2, 7-5, then hey, take it and just do better the next card and better the next card. And just try to keep those lows not too low and keep the highs as high as possible and keep consistent. So it is what it is. And as always with these videos right here, I'm gonna focus on the L's and where I went wrong with those. And that's gonna be the video. Then probably talk about the main event for a little bit. And then yeah. So let's start with the L's and then a brief little recap of the main event. And that's gonna be the video. So first L was what's his name? Sean Woodson versus Dennis Bazooka. And I'm not gonna get all into it. I'm gonna say where I saw the mistake even before the fight even happened. I just wanted to go with Daw. I saw who he was training with, training with Aljo. I've been seeing in Bazooka training with Aljo, Marab, and all that stuff. So this guy got some good potential. He looked pretty good on his Contender Series fight, his second Contender Series fight. And he looked pretty good on his Contender Series fight, but it definitely was a reach, especially the way I was predicting him to win. But and also was a lot of variables for why it wasn't the best pick. Like first off, he's coming on like 3 days notice. Then the biggest thing, probably even bigger than the 3 day notice, is like when I look at his but his fight metrics in both of his Contender Series fights, it's not like he had a great wrestling approach or great wrestling success. I think the most he got in one fight was like one. I think it was like he got wrestled in his last fight on the Contender Series fight, and then his other one had very limited success wrestling. So it's not like a guy going out there for 10 takedowns, going 60% or something, and then getting 5 minutes, 10 minutes of control time. It's like it was very way less than that. Even it was like one or two takedowns. One takedown I think in that Kelly Romero fight, and Kelly I think that took him down 5 times or something like that. And then in the other fight, he had like 2 takedowns, but like a minute and like 30 seconds of control time. So it was like he had no great track record of taking no one down and controlling him. He's going with Sean Wilson, who has much more experience at this level. Despite Sean Wilson coming off a lackluster performance that he really probably should have lost, but he still had that experience. So like, it wasn't the reach for Bazooka wasn't really there. Like coming on short notice and don't really have that track record to really say, oh, this guy's gonna come out here and wrestle him. And it showed in the fight. I think Wilson took him down. And Wilson took him down more than he took him down. I don't think he even got a takedown. I think Wilson got like 3 takedowns. So yet again, he got out wrestled. So the stats said it and the fight showed it. So he got outstruck and he got out wrestled. But he showed great heart. I don't know what weight class he's gonna stick at, if he could possibly make bantamweight or whatnot. But I think he has a good future ahead of him. But the stats already showed pretty much how the fight would go. But you try to go against the grain or just try to reach for something, and that's what you get. You get a loss. But he showed good heart, like coming in on 3 days notice, and still was pushing the pace, even though he said coming on 3 weeks notice. But that shows who he's training around. Like he's training, and that's how hard they train. Rob can go forever. Aljo ain't got the best cardio like that, to be honest. I mean, his cardio ain't bad, but it don't look like sometimes like it looks suspect at times. But nonetheless, they train. Both of them train hard. We all can say that. Aljo train hard, even though the cardio might not always fully transition over to the fight. Aljo definitely trains hard. He definitely have fights where his cardio looks phenomenal, but some fights like the Yan fights didn't look all that good sometimes. But yeah. Anyway, the proof was in the pudding, and it played out that way. But nonetheless, I think both guys can have solid futures ahead. But Bazooka got to keep evolving himself and then working on his own grappling, so he can be the one getting more takedowns and getting control time and finding those finishes instead of the reverse, him getting out wrestled by everybody he's fighting. So, or 2/3 of everybody fought so far at the UFC level or UFC proximity. But yeah, good win for Sean Wilson. Sean Wilson, especially coming off that last performance, that was not a good look for him. He took some time off, came back and showed improvement. Bazooka, he showed skill, but mostly he showed heart, and heart is something that you really can't buy. And the fact that he has that heart, like the skills can be improved upon all the time, but heart, that's something you really can't get. You either have it or you don't. So at least he has the harder thing to develop, or the harder thing to have, or the thing that you either have it or you don't. So for Bazooka, that's all I'll say about him. I talked enough about that particular fight. Second fight, we had Jake Hadley versus second fight got wrong. Jake Hadley versus Cody Durden. And with this one, this was the biggest and really the only L that really stung, because other L's are like, you know, for the most part, like coin flip or just trying to find some value in it. But this one, I thought Hadley really had it. And he did have his moment, like he had a guillotine. I think it was at the end of the first or second, but he had a close guillotine that could have finished it, but the round ended. Then he had like a good armbar that he was on for like a good chunk of that round, but Durden was able to tough through. I guess Durden was like, I lost enough fights by submission. I think 3 of his 4 losses were by submission. That's why I was leaning to Hadley. Also, I was biting on the Hadley hype train a little bit, like, oh, this guy's gonna be one of the top guys in this weight class. He's talking about Mokaev and talking about this stuff. He gonna be a nice little rival for him. But I guess that's not the case. And also, you could look back at a Nascimento fight where Nascimento was able to take him down, control him, but Nascimento had a grappling upside on him, or you know, had the BJJ to really neutralize his submission game. Whereas Durden again was 3 and 4 against submission. You know, 3 of his 4 losses were by submission, and two of the 2 recent ones were by submission. So like, looking there, it was close a couple times, but ultimately Hadley gives him takedowns way too easily, and way too accepting on bottom, and way too accepting to be on bottom, and Durden wants to put you on bottom. And I was expecting Durden to fade, but Durden's cardio has been improving. His striking probably improved a lot as well. So Durden made improvements as well. But ultimately, is it a bad pick necessarily to pick Hadley? No, but was it a bad pick to go high confidence? Definitely. So that's where the mistake is. Going high confidence with Hadley, knowing that his takedown offense wasn't all, you know, his takedown offense is really non-existent because he wants to be on bottom. He trusts his BJJ so much. And a lot of times these guys love their BJJ. They jump to the ground. Like, you going for a takedown, they'll fall over for you. Like, hey, I'll come to my guard. I'm good here. And he was trying to go for sweeps and try to go for that. You know, he had his moments in the fight, but ultimately he was too accepting on bottom. And also, I feel he needs to work on his striking. I thought he would have a striking match, but in reality, I think Durden won majority striking matchups. And also, I think Hadley probably was expecting him to fade, but he didn't really fade. And also, you're not going to fade as much when the guy's easily giving you takedown. You got to make him work with the takedown. You know, he tried and stuff, but ultimately this wasn't enough. And yeah, as far as Durden goes, I think guys that's going to beat Durden going to be guys that, or at least who I'm going to pick to beat Durden are going to be guys that more well-rounded. Like, no, they're going to have the BJJ as well, but they aren't going to be as willing to just give up takedowns. They're going to make Durden work and really struggle to get the takedowns and wear him down, stalk him, rip him to the body, rip him up top. And then when Durden starts to really reach and panic for these takedowns, then they're going to snap on the submission instead of trying to, you know, fall into submissions or pull guard or just give him easy takedowns and go for submission. Like, they're going to make him struggle, wear down, panic, reach, and then tap him out. Or take advantage, take his back and tap him out. But yeah, bad pick, not necessarily. High confidence, terrible. And I gotta be more mindful of that when the stylistic matchup not fully complete, and not instead of just trying to reach for, oh, this guy's got potential, or this guy's supposed to be this, guy's supposed to be that. Did he really have high confidence level material in this matchup? No, because he didn't have the full package. I just reached for it and then paid for it. So yeah, that's that L. Third L was Ignacio Bahamondes versus Ludovic Klein. And I don't feel like I really want to talk about this one too much because, like, we can already say Ludovic Klein, at least from what I saw in the UFC, I think twice he fought taller guys and twice he struggled. I feel Jai Herbert should have beat him. I feel like that shouldn't have even been a draw. Jai Herbert beat him. And then Mike Trezano at 45 beat him, and he struggled with the height and reach. So Ignacio Bahamondes' reach would cause some issue. And also, like Jai Herbert doesn't have the best takedown defense or grappling, and he was able to cause some issues. So I thought Bahamondes would be able to have success. But ultimately, as far as I'm going to be honest, I'm like 0-6-1 with Ludovic Klein. So probably one of the worst guys. Matter of fact, might be the worst guy I am at predicting. I said, you predict 500 fighters, it's going to be those guys that you can like, I'm 10-0 on this guy. I'm 12-0 on this guy. 7-0 on this guy. 4, you know, this got some good records on. Then you're going to have these people like, I'm literally trash at picking this dude. I cannot pick him at all. And I'm going to be honest, I can't pick Ludovic Klein fights. Like, when I predict him to beat Trezano. Like he has his good moments when he's looking good. I'm not picking him. When he's, and like, you know, the fights he's supposed to look good in, I pick him, and he looked terrible in. The fight he's supposed to look bad in, I pick him, he looks great. So, like, I can't get a hold on the dude. Let's be honest. So, I ain't going forward until I could get a fight that's right on him, involving him. I'm just going to go low confidence on him, and ultimately just avoid putting anything on him. But I guess maybe, how does he win his fights? They typically win. I think most of them go to decision, most of them. So maybe I can predict the over or bet the over. But as far as picking him, it's going to be low confidence until, again, I can get a beat on him, or obviously he starts to get to a certain level. He obviously ain't going to be no great fighter. He's going to get destroyed against anyone that's worthwhile. They're going to beat the mess out of that dude real easy. Lock confidence, beat dirt out that dude. Hopefully, I'm waiting for it. Jump him ahead, throw him top 50 so he get mixed up and I go on 3 streak on him, he get cut, so I can stop going, so that I don't have to worry about this dude constantly messing me up. But anyway, beat the dog dirt out of that dude. Oh, I don't know. Let me get a catch weight with him or something. Come up to 185 or something. But anyway, yeah. Ladova Klein looked good. Bahamas didn't look the best. And people say, oh, Medeski did it. But Medeski, maybe y'all new to the game, but Medeski, low-key, probably one of the most technical strikers in UFC MMA history. I'm not going to say like top 5 or nothing, but top 30, I think he could be one of the most technical strikers. He was regularly the shorter guy, and he was going in with these 6'4" kickboxers and then out-strike him. So Medeski did that to Jesus Pinedo, who doing good in PFL right now, so, and other guys. So don't just say because Medeski did that. Medeski is a beast, at least in the striking department. His issue was people looking to take him down and hold him for the most part. And he had a couple little fights where he got caught, but yeah. That's all I want to say for that one. Just sum it up and make it easy. I could say more, but I'm just not good at picking Ladova Klein. And he seems to be, like I say, he's going to look like a scrub against Nate Landwehr, going to look like a scrub against Trezano, going to look like a scrub against Jai Herbert, but hey, when I pick against him, I'm gonna look great in spite of you. And one final thing for that one, Prime Medeski will stop Ladova Klein 10 times out of 10. So don't insult Medeski. Insult his management skills, but fighting skills, don't try to steal Medeski. Ladova Klein would never beat John Medeski. Let's be honest about that. I'm not saying he wouldn't beat Medeski now, but he would never be Medeski. Yeah, Medeski way better than him. Prime for Prime way better. So don't insult Medeski like that. Keep that man's name out your mouth in disrespectful light when in regards to Ladova Klein. But yeah, 4th L was Tanner Boser versus Alexa Kamor. I went with Alexa Kamor, and this is another stupid pick. So let me see how many stupid picks did I have for this card. Hadley wasn't a stupid. Confidence was bad, but the pick wasn't bad, especially given the fact that he had several close submissions. The fight where he could end the fight. And typically, probably Durden would have tapped out if he didn't already have 3 losses. And he didn't want to go down that road again. He said, "I'm gonna keep fighting, even my arm get ripped off." That was his mentality. In the past, he probably would have tapped that guillotine. In the past, he would have tapped to that arm bar. Be like, "Nah, I ain't tapping out." He was grinning. He was biting his lip, biting his teeth. I ain't going out that way no more. And it was a little bit of a personal beef. So it was a several thing. He didn't want to lose that way again, and he didn't want to get his arm snapped. Lose that way again, and he didn't want to lose to Hadley. But yeah, the Bazooka fight, the stats already said the fight, and the fight played out that way. And the Kamor fight, the stats said it, and that fight played out the way it played. So this fight right here, the stats said it. I feel like, now a big reach, this guy could potentially, assumingly, I don't know, we haven't seen this guy fight in 3 years. He didn't really live at all up to some of his potential, but maybe he would be the more likely to be able to wrestle and do this and that. And I went low confidence there, but it still was a reach in an unnecessary reach. So Kamor was clearly the less technical striker on paper and in the fight. So on paper and in reality. And then you were just kind of assuming he's going to be able to work harder than him and be the one more likely to make his takedown. But that was not the case. He even got worse. He just turned into a punching bag out there. And the wrestling really wasn't there, or the attempts for wrestling really wasn't there. Matter of fact, Boza was one mixing up trying to go for some takedowns or clinching more than him. So yeah, he didn't have a clear angle to win. He wasn't the more active fighter. He's been very inactive. He was the more technical striker, and the grappling was a big if. So you lean into predicting the fight or on a big if. And ultimately, I avoided on the better side, but it was no point to go to Kamor. Probably trying to go for a dog there, but it was just a big reach that wasn't necessary. And I had, a couple of these other past weeks, just going for a big reach that wasn't necessary. And I got to get out of the habit on I feel like, I got a solid card. Let me pick one reach that might go through. And those big reaches that try to go through, they probably go through 1 out of 20 times. So what's the point of doing that? Go for the guy that actually has a viable chance, like Carlson Harris. That was a good one. He was losing, but he had a viable chance to win. Or at least a viable path that sounds reasonable and technical or logical to win versus, just pulling a prediction out your butthole, just because you're trying to go for a dog, that was dumb. And then the 5th and final L was Dustin Jacoby versus Kennedy Nchukwu. And not a fight I don't think I put any investment in. Matter of fact, I put probably a little small investment. I just put Nchukwu in a big long parlay. with like little investment, like a penny investment, like really. So but still, yeah, I went low confidence here on the Kenny and Chukwu pick. It was just my fifth and final L for the card. Yeah, I went low confidence with Kenny and Chukwu here, but yeah, Jacoby wasn't like he was 40 years old. Now he destroyed Donald Junk, who destroyed Kenny and Chukwu, so he had the MMA math on side. And he was clearly the more technical striker than Kenny and Chukwu. I wasn't denying that. I thought Chukwu would be able to, kind of flurry into the clinch, lean on him, and try to drag out a laborious decision. But he got starched early. Maybe he got kept in the fight, he put his good to win. But regardless, the proof was already in the pudding. And again, it wasn't like Jacoby was over the hill. And the last two fights he fought were very close. And they were two guys that had power and were more technical strikers than in Chukwu. So, and also so Jacoby had to respect it versus Kenny and Chukwu, who typically doesn't have power like that and typically finishes guys when they get tired, typically. So he's going there with a much more technical striker in Jacoby, who wasn't like 40 years old, 42, 43, 45 years old. And like now he's going to get that youthful upside on him. And like he really ain't all the way there no more. Now you can beat him. It's like he's still there. Like he might be slightly declining, but he's still there. And this fight showed it. Like still sharp enough to catch him, drop him, and finish him off early. So his sharpness still there, his technical still there, still got the power. And yeah, it was like, and Chukwu's path to victory was more of a reach and more so just like, well, he's young, he got this, he got that, he's supposed to win. Like maybe gonna come on, like, but more so than finding really an actual path to victory. Like I could kind of lean to that, but it's not like Chukwu has consistently been able to be able to do that. I'm saying the shift to that style, but it's not like a clear track where like his record tracks. It did not track and it was a reach. Whereas Jacoby, clearly saw how he could win the fight, but he's like, oh, he's getting up there. Like I said, it was a dumb prediction. Low confidence for a reason, deservedly so. But Jacoby probably was a clear. Matter of fact, Jacoby was a clear pick, especially going in as the dog. Like I said, if he was 40, that would probably 40 or 40 plus, maybe that would have been a pick. But Chukwu would have been a little bit better than he is now, and on top of Jacoby being like 40, that would have been a pick. But right now, nah. Yeah. Ultimately, low confidence in the fact that, putting no real investments out of like a little sprinkle. Ain't gonna feel too bad about it. But definitely something to consider, going forward with similar matchups, I think I got burned slightly by a similar matchup, probably a couple weeks ago. But can't think of the top of my head, but I feel like I had a similar matchup. Like a guy who wasn't as old as people were assuming he wasn't on decline as much as he was, versus some fighter that's on the come up that's not as good as people were kind of assuming to be, or kind of believing them to be, like, just kind of giving the extra push, like, oh, they're younger, they got it, kind of that type of thing. Where this guy's better, but he is kind of getting old. So this guy's young, he's good enough, and I think he'll level up in the fight or in between the training camp. And it's always a couple of those matches every couple weeks, so, or maybe even every week. But yeah, it is what it is. Don't feel all too bad about that one. The main one that sticks out is the Kimura, and as far as just dumb ones, the really dumb ones that stick out is Kimura and Bazooka. And I gotta trim up those stupid picks. Like Kimura and Bazooka, those were stupid picks. It's not no intelligence to those. Those were dumb picks. Like the stats literally even said it. Like the stats, you didn't even have to watch. You didn't have to watch no tape. You just had to look at the stats and who they fought, and for Bazooka, he coming on 3 days notice. So yeah. That's my 5 L's. Now in the main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Rob Font. That reminded me a lot of Alexander Gustafsson versus Jan Blachowicz. Like Gustafsson was feeling how the striking exchanges were going with Blachowicz, and he just mixing takedowns and just grinding out a boring lay and pray decision. That's what Corey Sandhagen did, but he did it over 5 rounds. I don't know if the Blachowicz fight was 5 rounds. I think that was 3 rounds, but either way, he laid on for like 3 rounds. Like the striking were very limited, but Blachowicz was getting better of it. And then Gustafsson went the safe route and just took him down and ground out a decision. And similar here, Corey Sandhagen wasn't liking how the strike on the feet was looking. He wasn't liking the jab. He wasn't liking the speed. He's like, I'm just going to go to wrestling. And he did that and laid on him for 5 rounds. Rafa looked good. Also, like some grappling exchanges early on, but then eventually he just kind of ran out of tricks in this conceded position. And Sandhagen was able to win a lackluster 5-round decision. So good win for Sandhagen. It definitely shows the improvement in his grappling. And just because he grappled up Rob Font don't mean he's going to grapple up Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm not saying that, he's scared of Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm just saying he could pick apart Umar Nurmagomedov on the feet. I'm saying style-wise, he just chose the path of least resistance versus who he fought. Like against Umar Nurmagomedov, he might use that wrestling and defense to pick him apart on the feet. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, every fight he's gonna fight will be boring, or all he turned into a complete wrestler now, or nothing like that. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like he went in there with a guy, he was kind of cautionary of on the feet. I know he probably could have beat him on the feet, or I don't know, maybe you want to find feet, but he chose to pass the least resistance. So going there with Umar Nurmagomedov, and also he was training for Umar Nurmagomedov, so that's probably why he probably put more of his camp toward wrestling. So going with a speedy striker, speedy technical veteran striker like that, he's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling these exchanges. I'm not really trained to prepare for this, so I'm gonna go with what I've been working for against Umar Nurmagomedov. And he used that. He did what needed to be done. So going forward, like Aljo, he's not gonna try to wrestle Aljo too much unless Aljo gets tired. So he probably not gonna go for a wrestling approach. He fight Aljo. He might go for a wrestling approach against Sean O'Malley. But again, like he go with grapplers, he going strike. He going in with strikers, he going wrestle. So that's what mixed martial artists do. It was a boring fight, but a good win for him. And what lackluster as the fight was, it shows new wrinkles in his game, and that he's like the fact that he can do that offensively. Definitely expect him to be better defensively going there with these wrestlers and grapplers going forward. Am I saying he's going to win these fights? Not necessarily, but it's definitely an address. Like, he definitely addressed the grappling to some extent. Again, it wasn't much defensive, which would be the big answer, especially like he went out there and defended Umar Nurmagomedov, maybe even out-wrestled him a bit, but probably more importantly, defended the takedown than outstruck him or something. But how smooth he looked definitely showed he's been working on it. And when you're working on offense, you definitely working on defense to some extent. Not saying to the same extent, but to some extent. So, look good for him. As far as his grappling, good improvements. And, going forward, that's good for him. Not the most exciting fight, but he did what needs to be done. Rafa on the side, like, looked pretty decent early on, but and showed toughness and whatnot. But hey, I think Rafa can stick around, win some fights, but as far as title aspirations, don't really see that happening for him. But hey, no, who knows? I said, hey, knows. But who knows? Blachowicz was in a similar position in his career. Maybe not even as good in his career as Rafa is at that point. Then he was able to go on and become champion. Gustafsson didn't become champion. But hey, this ain't no bantamweight version of the light heavyweight division, like circa some years ago. So it is what it is. So Sandhagen look good. Show some new wrinkles. And those should at least help him or aid him going into his future fights. But that is what it is. So again, for this card, I went 7-5, 7-12. Pretty decent. Could be better. Made some dumb mistakes. But all I can do is get better and take the wins, take the loss in stride, and go to the next one and do better. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.